Hello and welcome back to Digimon Data Squad. In the last episode, I was completely destroyed by Dark Dragonmon. Or at least, when I made this video. The actual last episode was when I beat Lilithmon and completed the lovely Cove Island, the Charizard Island. And in this episode, I'm going to show you all the grinding that you missed out on in between, well, me losing and me beating Dark Dragonmon. Don't worry, I'm going to be taking out the actual grinding. I'm just going to kind of go over the grinding I did. So starting off in Snayato Forest, I want to go up and talk to Salamon here, and the reason for this is because Salamon, after it's done giving me all these items for the number of Digimon I beat, Salamon here will actually tell you all the information about your Digimon and your team as a whole. Now the thing is, everything that this guy tells you is important in one way or another to the Digilutions of all your Digimon. So I would recommend taking notes about roughly where he is, because it's a lot easier to kind of keep track in notes than it is to come back to him every single time you need to know a question, because you don't want to overshoot some of these requirements by a whole bunch, because, well, all your team members will share most of the requirements with something else. For instance, every Digimon has a set number of rookie, champions, ultimates, and megas that they need to beat. And as you can see, I'm kind of taking notes myself as I'm going along with this. And another thing to look out for is Digimon field types. These are the kinds of Digimons that the types of the Digimon you fight, and you can tell what they are by their eggs if you know what eggs go to each type. Me, I just kind of use the encyclopedia to do that because it's way easier. Now, I don't really need to show all of these Digimon stats, but I think it is important to kind of see where I'm standing, at least at this point in time, because, well, actually I don't really have a good reason why you need to see it, but I went through all of this, so it's not really that big of a deal. As you can see, there's some that we really haven't encountered yet, and some that I have encountered, and to be honest, I really should have took the time to do some of these requirements when I had the chance. For instance, the NSO there on Agumon, I'm 9 out of 99, and Agumon is very slow when he attacks, and will be for quite a while actually. So it makes it really hard, and when you have to fight 90 more of types of Digimon, it can take quite a while. But there are other things that they go off of too, by the maximum damage they dealt, total damage they've dealt and taken, and other such various things like treasure chests and steps taken, and pretty much anything that Salamon's telling you here are all requirements that you need for each and every Digimon. Now, some of the requirements are absolutely ludicrous. For instance, this total damage here, Agumon has to deal over 1 million damage and take 100,000 damage to meet certain requirements. And a lot of requirements are actually shared on the Digilution maps. For instance, there's one requirement where somebody has to be 5 BBs, which are like the Patamons and the Angelmons and such. But a requirement after that is beating 10 BBs. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to keep track of each individual list item for each evolution. It might be helpful for trying to get specific groups, but to be honest, they all kind of work together in a weird kind of way. So what I did was I just made a list of the maximum I needed for each. For instance, the maximum VBs that some Digimon need are like 40. So I wrote down 40, and as I grind and reach that achievement, then it just kind of carries across all of them and I'm not missing anything. At least that's what the hope was, but one unfortunately about it was that this takes a long time. I mean, this video was comprised of over 10 hours of footage. And it's a long time to make something like that, so not every requirement was fulfilled, but there were other reasons and other factors. For instance, like, it was just taking too much time to train Agumon. He kind of got neglected throughout all of this and only got used when he specifically needed use. Other reasons were there's other variables that, no matter what, are not achievable at this point. I wasn't worried about those, and there was just a lot of different factors that were out of my control and out of my reach as of this point. And I only wanted to try to get a team good enough to fight against this Dar Dragon because it was terrible. Now, every Digimon needs a flea and a guard, certain number of fleas and guards and supports and stuff like that. I already got a majority of those during the adventure, especially the flea. I actually did grind for that because I knew to do that. Had the opportunity, and I only needed to do it like 4 or 5 times, so it wasn't that big of a deal. And not every Digimon has the same requirements as another one. And what I mean is, in a minute, we're going to be going over Gabumon, who I believe, actually I don't believe because I have the notes right here, is an NSP field type Digimon. And at least as far as I needed at this point, neither Agumon nor Lalamon needed any more of the NSPs, and I'll go over what that means in kind of a minute, but there are certain things that only certain Digimon need, and there's only certain things that you need to focus on, so it's just something to keep in mind as you're going about this stuff. I'm going to adjust my microphone just real quick, because man, that microphone was right up in my face, so get that out of there, and just kind of finishing up the last couple of them as I'm going through. I'm not going to go over Falcomon because I'm going to go ahead and save him till a late game kind of thing, and just get him when I have everything already kind of set up and do him just all at one time, and just see how fast I can do it. I kind of want to leave him as pristine and untouched as possible, but obviously that's not going to be completely possible because there are some things, for instance, level ups, everybody gets them after a battle. If the team member is alive, then they get experience at the end of the battle, whether they're even on the field or not. So he's getting level ups and keeping up with the team. I appreciate that factor of the game. And there are other things like treasure chests, which is a one set. And what I mean is, it goes across the whole team, it holds the same number and the same value. So it doesn't matter what time any of the members joined, because I was factoring that in my head when I was originally making these lists, except it doesn't matter. Every treasure chest that you collect counts as one. Doesn't matter when anyone joins, it doesn't matter when you've collected it, it doesn't matter at all. It counts as one, and it counts towards everyone's total no matter what. And those factors, they kind of break up weirdly. For instance, field types is an individual thing, so each Digimon deals their own damage, and they take their own damage. That makes sense. When you beat for instance, Gabumon, if anyone other than the Digimon that you want to take it down takes it down, they get the credit for it, and the Digimon you wanted to take credit for it would not. So there's certain things that only go towards one Digimon, and other things, most of that stuff's going to be found in like the everybody kind of settings there. And for instance, the number of treasure chests that goes towards everybody, and all of these ones count towards everybody all the time, regardless of anything else. Appreciate it. That's actually a nice thing to do, because, well, I don't think that you can run out of treasure chests by the time you get everybody. Regardless, as I was talking before, here's the team, and as you can see on the field, there's a Gabumon who was let me look at my notes again, NSP field type Digimon, and the only Digimon I have that can even use that field type is Gaomon. So specifically, I would want Gaomon to destroy that Gabumon. That way he gets the credit for that egg. That's a NSP egg. And other Digimon, like this Patamon here, everybody needs to reach a certain amount of Patamons. If I was smart about it, I actually, during my first visit, would have taken the time to use both Agumon and Lalamon and filled up their full requirements while I was here. Not only would it have been more convenient without Gaomon, because it's less turns you have to go through, and it's, well, he's the fastest one on the team, which means you don't have to sit through his stuff every single time. But also, Patamon became kind of rare at that point, which means that now there's even fewer to go around, and everybody needs a piece of them. The second thing to be kind of looking at is rookies and the champions and the ultimates and the megas. There are a few ultimates out there as of this point, but a lot of what you're going to come across, like this Garurumon, are all champions, and everybody needs to beat a certain amount. So the way I went about it was, first came field type. Garurumon is also in the NSP, and only Gaomon benefits from him. I was going to have Gaomon defeat this Garurumon and get a point for each one. Unfortunately, when you're doing something like this, and in this instance, you don't one-shot, it takes a long time to go back through. I mean, I was afraid that cutting into this time, I was going to run short. But I not only did all my audio, kept up with my audio, and adding this audio, and I'm only just now ending that fight. Another thing to keep an eye on when you're doing this is that each location kind of changes on your second visit after you beat the boss of the area. For instance, Leomon here has appeared. I believe he's a champion. He is also, once again, an NSP Digimon, so only Gaomon would benefit from defeating him. So just keep an eye out for that kind of stuff, and don't forget to always use your encyclopedia whenever you go through a matchup, and use your evolution charts to see kind of like if you've met requirements. But most importantly, take notes, because you do not want to come back here back to Snayato Forest every time you need to look something up and talk to Solomon. Even though it's the most accurate number, it still takes a really, really long time. And right here, this was a saving grace, would be a saving grace for this if it was an easier move to get, but Hanging Twister is a field attack. It attacks everybody. I've been waiting to get, I was wondering if they had this move in the game.
Concentrate.
And not only do they have it, but every one of your members, or at least the 3 main ones, can get one. Except I don't know if the other 2 can get one at this point. So that move makes it so much easier, because you can just attack everyone at once, and all you have to worry about if you do that is just making sure whoever you have is the fastest, has the highest agility, and can one-shot everything on the field. If you can meet those 2 requirements, then honestly, the grinding in this game is not that bad. Unfortunately, a lot of the good moves, like this, Hanging Twister, locked away until later in the game. And I just wanted to go over one last time. As you can see here, way back in the very first beach, I think it's called Walter Beach or something like that, new enemy was never here. What is that? What is that? Like an air Dragonmon? Dragonmon? New Digimon, never seen it before, and it's a wing type, which up to this point, I haven't even seen one. This is the first one. Perfect place to come back to and fill out all your wing requirements. I think there's also a wing on Love Cove Island, but that one's stronger. You can take this out in one shot. Really fast way to build up a meter. And the way I would recommend going about it, I'm gonna come out with more on this later, but the way to go about it, definitely start from your most earliest locations, because as you can see here, just Marcus's punch alone one-shots this Itmon. And the question is, when you beat him by that punch, you just lose out on that soul charge. Now, from this point forward, I'm just going to let you guys watch all of my soul charges.
Digisoul charge! How about this? Yeah! Digisoul charge! Digisoul charge! How about this? Yeah! Digisoul charge! How about this? Yeah! Digisoul charge! Digisoul charge! How about this? Yeah! Digisoul charge! How about this? Yeah! Digisoul charge! How about this? How about this? Yeah! Digisoul charge! How about this? How about this? Yeah! Digisoul charge! Digisoul charge! Digisoul charge! Digisoul charge! Digisoul charge! Digisoul charge! Digisoul charge!
Alright, and with that, that was all the soul charges you missed, and kind of just me going over kind of what I know about doing this so far. And I would show you more of the grinding parts, except like I said, this took over 10 hours. In the next episode, we continue on with the story. See you guys then.